From the ashes of Syria's civil war emerged a terrorist organization so savage that even Al-Qaeda, the group behind 9/11s, publicly denounced them as too extreme. This is the complete story of ISIS, where systematic genocide, mass sexual slavery, and public executions became government policy. What you're about to discover will haunt you. Before we continue, do 3 things immediately. First, smash that subscribe button and activate notifications. Fleek of History delivers the raw truth others won't cover. Second, if you're under 18 or disturbed by graphic historical content, leave now. Third, share this with someone who needs to understand modern terrorism's darkest face. Let's uncover this evil together. Origins of darkness. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, globally recognized as ISIS, traces its roots to 1999 when Jordanian extremist Abu Musab al-Zarqawi founded a small militant group in Afghanistan. For nearly a decade, they operated in obscurity, affiliated with Al-Qaeda during Iraq's violent insurgency following the 2003 American invasion. By 2008, the organization faced extinction. Coalition forces and Iraqi militias systematically eliminated their commanders and fighters. Even their own members admitted facing an extraordinary crisis. The group seemed destined for history's footnotes. Then 2010 changed everything. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi seized leadership and transformed the dying movement into history's most feared terrorist network. When Syria's civil war erupted in 2011, al-Baghdadi recognized his opportunity. Thousands of militants flooded across Iraq's border into Syria with one mission: establish a fundamentalist Islamic caliphate governed by extreme Sharia law, with al-Baghdadi as absolute ruler. Their expansion strategy proved devastatingly effective. ISIS conquered rival militant groups and forcibly absorbed them, multiplying their ranks with each victory. By August 2014, intelligence estimated ISIS commanded 80,000 to 100,000 fighters, larger than many national armies. Their reputation for extreme brutality became their deadliest weapon. Iraqi soldiers, Syrian troops, and rebel forces often abandoned positions and fled rather than face ISIS, knowing defeat meant torture and horrific execution. By 2014, ISIS controlled 100,000 square kilometers, equivalent to Iceland's size, dominating 30% of Syria and 40% of Iraq. Their capital became Raqqa, Syria, transforming a beautiful city into headquarters of horror. Approximately 8 million people lived under ISIS rule, subjected to medieval brutality disguised as religious governance. Ideology of annihilation. ISIS followed Wahhabism, an apocalyptic, extremist interpretation of Sunni Islam demanding Islam's purification through violence. They believed the end times would arrive only after defeating all enemies and re-establishing the ancient Rashidun Caliphate from the 7th century. In their twisted theology, murder wasn't just permitted. It was glorified as paradise's guaranteed path. Followers learned that spilling apostate blood ensured heavenly rewards. Anyone refusing submission faced death: non-Muslims, Shia Muslims, moderate Sunni, Christians, Yazidis, and countless others. They viewed these people as vermin requiring extermination, not human beings deserving dignity. The hatred toward Shia Muslims burned particularly intense. Despite sharing Islam's fundamental beliefs, ISIS considered Shia practice a perversion warranting genocide. This sectarian hatred fueled massacres across regions where Sunni Shia communities had coexisted peacefully for centuries. Under ISIS rule, Sharia law governed every aspect of existence with iron brutality. Slavery became legal and encouraged. Women lost all rights, reduced to property, forbidden from walking alone, unable to divorce, and subjected to legal domestic violence. The all-female Al-Hansa Brigade patrolled cities as morality police, arresting women for makeup, form-fitting clothing, or insufficient submission to male authority. Punishments included public beatings, whippings, and worse. Criminal punishments reached medieval cruelty levels. Thieves had hands amputated in public squares, stumps cauterized with boiling oil. Accused criminals faced crucifixion, beheading, or burning alive. All filmed for propaganda. Homosexuality carried mandatory death sentences, with victims thrown from tall buildings. The violence became so extreme that Al-Qaeda's leader, responsible for thousands of terrorist deaths worldwide, publicly criticized ISIS for targeting women, children, and non-combatants. When Al-Qaeda calls you too extreme, you've entered unprecedented depravity. The genocide campaign. Syria and Iraq host dozens of ethnic and religious minorities. Yazidis, Mandaeans, Assyrians, Turkmen, Druze, and others. For ISIS, these communities represented targets for extermination and enslavement. The Yazidi people suffered particularly horrific persecution. ISIS declared their ancient pre-Islamic religion devil worship, marking them as heretics with zero legal protection. Unlike Christians who could theoretically pay special taxes to survive, Yazidis received no options.
They faced immediate conversion or death. On August 3, 2014, ISIS launched massive assaults on Sinjar region, where Yazidi communities had lived for centuries. Village after village fell as militants systematically murdered every man and boy. Many shot execution style, others burned alive, buried alive, or beheaded on camera. Entire male populations were exterminated. What made this genocide more devastating was neighbor betrayal. Many Sunni Muslims who'd lived peacefully alongside Yazidis for generations suddenly collaborated with ISIS, revealing hiding places or tricking families into staying. Over 200,000 people fled, with 50,000 taking desperate refuge on Mount Sinjar. The mountain became a death trap. Families huddled on barren slopes without food, water, or medicine, while ISIS artillery bombarded daily. Children died from dehydration in scorching heat. The elderly collapsed from exhaustion. The wounded received no medical care. Thousands of Yazidi women and girls as young as 9 were captured and sold into sexual slavery at auctions like livestock. ISIS released official price lists. Girls under 9 commanded highest prices at $172, while women aged 40 to 50 sold for just $43. The younger the victim, the higher the price. A grotesque commodification recalling history's worst slave trade atrocities. These women had absolutely no rights under ISIS law, considered property to be bought, sold, and abused at will. They endured repeated rape, beatings, and psychological torture. Many were sold multiple times, passed between fighters like trading cards. Iraqi Turkmen faced similar brutality despite most being Sunni Muslims. ISIS viewed them as potential traitors due to ethnic ties with Turkey. After capturing Tal Afar in June 2014, ISIS massacred 300 people and abducted 1,300 more. Only 42 ever returned. By September 2014, over 350,000 Turkmen fled their ancestral homes. 600 Turkmen women were sold into sexual slavery, transported to female slave prisons in Syria. These communities formed local militias. Sinjar resistance units, Nineveh Plains forces, Turkmen brigades. Fighting with desperate courage. But vastly outnumbered and poorly equipped, success came only when fighting alongside Kurdish Peshmerga forces or receiving coalition air support. Kurdish forces, supported by British and American airstrikes and emergency airdrops, eventually broke Mount Sinjar's siege. But rescue came too late for thousands already killed, tortured, or enslaved. The Yazidi genocide represents one of the 21st century's most documented atrocities. Financing the terror state. Despite international non-recognition, ISIS functioned as a de facto nation-state requiring massive infrastructure and funding. They managed electricity, water distribution, construction, weapons manufacturing, healthcare, and soldier payments. Running this shadow state required stable funding that eventually made ISIS history's wealthiest terrorist organization. Oil became their primary revenue source, generating $1.3 million daily at peak. ISIS controlled major Syrian and Iraqi oil fields. Facilities previously generating billions for legitimate governments. They sold crude oil domestically at subsidized prices and smuggled massive quantities to Turkey, Iran, Jordan, and Iraq on black markets, often at half normal cost. Independent refineries processed oil, using primitive methods. Steel tanks heated by bonfires functioning like giant distillation apparatus. The entire process was deadly. Vessels risked exploding. Toxic fumes poisoned workers. Oil spills destroyed environments. Young teenage boys removed solidified carcinogenic debris from tanks. A job virtually guaranteeing cancer. One worker described it: "We're committing slow suicide to provide for our children." Some smuggled oil mixed with legitimate oil to disguise origins. One smuggler revealed staggering profits. 28 tons of ISIS oil purchased for $4,200 sold in Jordan for $115,000. U.S. intelligence even accused Syria's Assad regime of purchasing ISIS oil despite being mortal enemies. Coalition airstrikes relentlessly targeted oil installations. As ISIS lost territory through 2015 to 2016, production plummeted. By late 2015, daily oil income dropped from over $1 million to around $660,000. By 2017, after losing Mosul and Raqqa, oil revenue virtually disappeared. Desperate for funds, ISIS pivoted to narcotics trafficking, producing Captagon, a powerful amphetamine. Despite Islamic law prohibiting intoxicants, ISIS fighters consumed Captagon to fight longer, suppress hunger, and eliminate fear. Production was industrial scale. In 2020, Italian authorities seized 14 tons, 84 million tablets worth $1 billion, the world's largest amphetamine seizure. ISIS also generated income through taxation, extortion, bank robberies, and stolen artifact sales. At peak, ISIS controlled 30% of Iraq's archaeological sites, plus many in Syria. Artifacts with market value were smuggled and sold to wealthy collectors. Syrian archaeologist Khalid al-Assad became a martyr when ISIS tortured him for a week demanding artifact locations. He never broke. They murdered him and displayed his body publicly. His courage saved priceless human heritage, the fallen lingering shadow. After years of devastating warfare, the caliphate crumbled under sustained pressure. International coalition forces, Kurdish militias, Iraqi troops, and Syrian Democratic Forces launched coordinated offensives. By December 2017, Iraqi forces liberated all ISIS-held Iraqi territory, including Mosul, after 9 months of brutal combat. In Syria, fighting continued. In early 2019, Syrian Democratic Forces launched their final assault on Abu Ghuz, the last ISIS-controlled village. By March 2019, the physical caliphate ceased existing. Al-Baghdadi died in October 2019 during a US Special Forces raid, detonating a suicide vest as commandos closed in. But ISIS didn't disappear. It evolved. Affiliated groups remain active across Africa, controlling territories in Mali, Nigeria, and Somalia. Other cells operate as underground networks conducting worldwide attacks. ISIS ideology continues spreading through encrypted apps and social media, radicalizing individuals who carry out attacks in their name. The March 22, 2024 Moscow theater attack demonstrated ISIS still possesses devastating capability. 4 gunmen killed 144 people and injured 551. Attacks have occurred in 29 countries spanning every continent. The physical caliphate vanished, but the ideology survives and thousands of radicalized followers scattered globally. The human cost remains incomprehensible. The Syrian Network for Human Rights documented ISIS killed at least 5,043 individuals in Syria, including 910 children and 539 women. Nearly 8,684 forcibly disappeared people remain missing. ISIS conducted at least 5 chemical weapons attacks. Survivors reported 17 distinct torture methods. Entire communities remain displaced, unable to return to homes destroyed or littered with landmines. Yazidi families continue searching for missing daughters sold into slavery. The psychological trauma will haunt survivors and descendants for generations. This isn't just history, it's ongoing reality. ISIS-affiliated terrorists continue operating today, spreading death and destruction worldwide. If this video opened your eyes to human evil's depths and fighting such darkness's importance, do 3 things now. First, smash that like button and subscribe to Fleek of History with notifications on.
We bring you raw, unfiltered historical truth mainstream media ignores. We don't shy from difficult topics because understanding evil prevents its return. Second, share this video widely. People need understanding what happened and continues happening. Send it to friends, family, anyone needing to grasp modern terrorism's reality. Knowledge is our most powerful weapon against ignorance and complacency. Third, comment below telling me what historical topic Fleek of History should investigate next. What other dark chapters need exposing? Your engagement shapes our content as we build a community confronting uncomfortable truths. Remember philosopher George Santayana's words: those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Stay educated. Stay vigilant. Stay with Fleek of History as we uncover stories that shaped our world, no matter how dark. This is Fleek of History signing off. Until next time, never stop questioning, never stop learning, and never forget history's lessons.